Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
The overnight round of rain didn't bring a lot of accumulation to some, like Elkins or Martinsburg. Many of us did see that quarter to a half inch, including Lewisburg, Charleston, Huntington, Parkersburg had over a half inch. More beneficial rain to the area through Wednesday, but extending this to the 7-day precipitation outlook, hardly any change. So it will be much drier in general on the other side of the cold front for Wednesday. That brings a widespread marginal risk. Damaging winds is that concern. We'll see areas of showers trying to hold form this evening, but the widespread rain moves with the system through the morning and into the afternoon from west to east, with some wet weather affecting your outdoor plans. In general, through the evening, drying out pretty nicely. FlyCRW forecast, it starts at home. A pretty decent stretch to end the week, depending on where you're traveling, holding on to some 90s in Orlando and some seasonably cool conditions in Chicago. Panhandle to panhandle forecast, around an inch possible in some northern areas as you go southward, closer to that half inch, mid and upper 50s for lows, and then topping off generally in the mid 60s for your Wednesday with the thunderstorms represented. Looking east, closer to that half inch to 3/4 inch range, well represented here, with temperatures dipping in below 50 in the cooler spots tonight, and then will range from mid 60s to near 70 in the warm spots on Wednesday. Petersburg's 71. Zooming out here, a half inch to an inch. That is a good ballpark area that many of us will be falling in. Maybe some fog developing overnight near Moorfield to Franklin, low to upper 50s, and some highs that'll be near 70 in the warmer spots on Wednesday. About a half inch or so for Charleston, but Huntington has that 1 inch potential. Logan holding on to 62 tonight, and then those warm areas will be in some 70s for our Wednesday. The rest of the forecast, we'll see more commonly 60s, and the rain chances not accumulating as much.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Five, three.
Rag 57! Rag 57! Hot, hot!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Bill McKenzie hits a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened-to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
Sportsline for Tuesday. We're back in the studio. Kyle Wicks, Greg Hunter, Brad Howe, and it is good to be back. We've got another busy show, and you can see the smiling faces of the guys tonight, where we weren't on video last night, but we had a lot of fun.
You know, it is nice to be back, but boy, that one was really enjoyable last night up at PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
I'm kind of having
what
withdrawals.
What a game did we see?
Yeah, I'm kind of having withdrawals. I want to go back to the park there and watch BP and then check out the game. Coming up here, they play tonight again, 6:40 tonight.
Right. So that was fun. And again, if you missed it, we there was a media scrum with both. There was a lot of interest, obviously, with J.J. Wetherholt coming back to Pittsburgh. So there were opportunities to visit with him and Victor Scott, and that's all preserved on the podcast from Monday's show, the show from PNC Park. But again, we are back, and we've got a lot to do tonight. The latest Three Guys Before the Game dropped earlier this afternoon with Scotty Fox. We're going to hear a little bit later on, get a little flavor of that. If you don't have time to listen to all 1 hour and 17 minutes, we'll give you some snippets. That's coming up. But again, interesting situation there with a young man who made an impact on this program, maybe a lot quicker than we thought he would.
Yeah, I think he was pressed into duty a little quicker than most thought he was, and ended up with had a couple really good games, Greg. The first true freshman to throw for more than 200 or more than 300 yards in 2 different games, so he was fantastic there. And really fun interview, guys. He showed his maturity, talked a lot about the difference between last year and this year and how much that has changed in the comfort level coming back. And they've got a good quarterback room. That's going to be a heck of a competition between he and Michael Hawkins. But Scotty was excellent today. Enjoyed catching up with him.
Yeah, first true freshman since Freddie Wyant in the early 50s, over 70 years ago. Well, God bless Freddie. He's passed away not that long ago. But Freddie Wyant, the last true freshman to start at quarterback for West Virginia. So, I mean, that's the kind of achievement that he went through last year, started the final 6 games for the Mountaineers. And I thought played really well and had nice showings quite often. But he, the nice thing about your interview, and I haven't listened to all of it. I got about through half of it because I only had one day. But, he admitted when he made mistakes and owned up to his issues, but obviously grew with each and every game from there on.
Yeah, and I thought that's what was so impressive is just his mental approach. I mean, this wasn't some guy that's just out there winging it. Like the way he approaches practice and a play and his nutrition and his workout, it was really interesting to talk to him. This was not just a normal college kid out there just guessing at this stuff. He's a pretty calculated dude, and it was a fun interview. So you're right, Kyle. We've got a couple clips that we'll get into here a little bit later, and then talk some more about what that quarterback room looks like, because it's certainly, I think, from a potential standpoint, a world away from where it was last year, Greg. Yeah. I think you have some confidence in a couple of different guys, Scotty being one of them.
Also tonight, this week, Jayson Gee is back in the state of West Virginia as the head men's basketball coach at Concord, and that's a very familiar name and a guy who had great success as coach at the University of Charleston, and he's had a very interesting career, and we're going to visit with him tonight coming up in just a few minutes. But a lot of stops along the way at multiple levels of men's college basketball. Most recently, he was on the staff. He wasn't a bench coach, but he was in a support role at Kansas State University last year.
Yeah, we just saw him a few weeks ago when we were out there in Manhattan near the end of the season and spent some time with Jerome Tang, who's back in the news today. Former Kansas State coach has returned to the Baylor bench where he was for 20-some years with Scott Drew. So Jayson spent some time with Coach Tang last year at Kansas State. Spent some time at Cincinnati as well. So he's been at 2 different West Virginia opponents over the years.
So we'll visit with Jayson Gee coming up on the Sportsline 304 Talk 304. That's the text line. We didn't take any text last night. If you have any comments from what you heard last night from the ball game, that was fascinating, and obviously the finish, it was great for me, and it was great for Mountaineer fans. But I know some people are conflicted because people, at least in the north central part of the state, love the Pirates. That's their team. And it's got to be tough. Well, you love the Cubs, right? Yeah. It's got to be tough to root for a guy to do well with the Cardinals, but 2 guys to do well. But it's impossible not to root for Victor Scott and J.J. Wetherholt.
It's a great way to say that, and fortunately as a Cubs fan, I've got practice, as you've mentioned many times. Carpenter playing for the Cardinals, Jed Jerko, of course, one of our favorites, playing for the Cardinals, so I've gotten used to having to root for the Cardinals at times, and last night was a great example, guys. We said it last night on the air. That was just great catching up with both of them. What wonderful ambassadors to this university. They were fun and would have sat there forever and talked to us, and then to see them both play roles at the end, including JJ. How about his flair for the dramatic, guys? Right? Wow. Comes up in the bigs, hits a home run in his first game and a walk-off in his second game. His return trip to his hometown, only an hour away from campus here and then right by Mars, and he goes yard to tie it in an eventual win late in the game.
In the 9th inning.
He's got it. Right? Yeah. What Coach Nealon always say, I don't know what it is, but he's got it. JJ's got it, and he showed it again last night.
Yeah, Victor Scott then gets an opportunity to pinch run one batter later, and he scores what would be the eventual winning run. So the St. Louis Mountaineers, if you dubbed them, were a huge factor in that come from behind victory for the Cardinals.
Or the WVU Cardinals.
Yeah, there you go.
Either way. We need to get some T-shirts made or something. Yeah. But yeah, that was a great experience, and the Cardinals were left for dead. They looked dead in the water through 7, no hits, and the hit that broke up the no-hitter was an infield hit, and it was pretty feeble. But then they erupted in the 9th, and of course the Pirates had a bullpen game. Braxton Ashcraft missed his start because of a bereavement situation, so they had their bullpen, and their bullpen was worn out. It was taxed by the end of the game, and Cardinals took advantage of that. But you're right, game 2 of the series tonight at 6:40.
You know, baseball's so weird. We talk about this all the time, and we've certainly seen that this week for WVU. But the Pitt game and then the Cincinnati series, it's just a weird game. Like odd things happen. Last night was a great example of that. You're exactly right. St. Louis is getting no hit through 7.
And no hard contact.
And really not even threatening anything. And they end up getting an infield hit that breaks the ice. They end up winning the game. Pittsburgh was the reverse. They come out of the game hit and had like 6 hits through 3 innings and then go 1 hit the final 6 innings of the game. The game just flipped on a dime for really no apparent reason. It just all of a sudden momentum switched and it changed, and the team that was struggling for most of the game ends up winning the game. So I do think you have to remember that whenever you're watching baseball. Maybe of all sports, more weird things happen in baseball than any other sport.
That's true. Also today, some news. We heard about this yesterday, but it is official. The Mountaineers, the women's basketball program, have announced the addition of Alexis Bordas from Wheeling Park High School. She was a freshman at Duquesne and had a wonderful season, really a remarkable season as a true freshman, and got into the transfer portal, and she'll end up at West Virginia. And Coach Mark Kellogg's really rebuilt that roster, and there's a number of players already on board, and maybe sometime soon we can have him on and kind of go through the individuals that he has brought aboard. But again, as a fan of West Virginia high school sports, and Brad, you've been to the girls' state tournament. I watch every game every year. It's really exciting to see these in-state athletes get an opportunity to play at West Virginia.
And she's one of the best to come through there, multi-time player of the year. And you're right, she had a great freshman season at Duquesne, averaged, close to 15 points a game. And,
a little over.
And now gets a chance
and a half.
Now comes down here to West Virginia. I think that's a fun pickup for Mark Kellogg. And you're right, I think, again, on paper, we'll see how this all comes together. There's a lot of variables and a lot of runway between now and the season. But it looks like that staff did a really good job in the portal of reloading this roster. And Alexis is going to get a chance to come in and compete for a spot and get some playing time potentially right away. But one of the very best players to come through the state of West Virginia, now a Mountaineer.
And Greg, we kind of analyzed. I know you went back and did some research during the season. Brad wasn't here that night, but we looked back through the years at West Virginia natives who have been on the WVU women's basketball roster, and there haven't been any for a while. The last 2 were walk-ons, Olivia Segi and Cynthia Fullard from Morgantown High, as I point behind me here right across the bridge. The last scholarship player was Mackenzie White of Scott High School. So that's going back a while.
Who didn't finish her career here. So, it has been a long while since West Virginia has had significant players who were impact players on the women's basketball teams here. So nice to see. And Brad, members of the family. That family has deep ties to WVU from the Bordases and also her mother's side with Contrigueros. So deep ties. And boy, you talk about it. The stat you gave me, third most among freshmen second most among freshmen in three-pointers made this past season.
She was a top 25 in terms of number of made three-pointers. She was top 25 in the country.
No matter any class.
Among freshmen, she hit 90. And among freshmen, only Naomi White of Northern Arizona had more at 92. So she was right there. West Virginia's leader was Sydney Shaw with 95, finished 13th in the country. And for reference, Meredith Mayer, another in-state native who played at Marshall, she had a wonderful senior season at Marshall. She hit 91 and was 24th. And Alexis Bordas with 90, 25th in the country and number 2 in the country among freshmen in made three-point shots in Division I women's basketball.
Yeah, you pop 93s. I don't care what level or league you're doing that in. That's a heck of a season. And so, that's the potential she brings to this lineup, a shooter, a talented offensive player. And it's just always the question you have when you're coming up a level is just the ability to make that translate into one of the very best women's leagues in America. But from a story standpoint, this is a great offseason story and portal addition from that standpoint for Mark Kellogg and company.
She was also top 25 of the nation in foul shooting, up around 88. I don't have that. Let's see. Maybe I do have that number. She was at 88.2%, 75 of 85 from the foul line, and that was in the top 25 in the country as well. And for reference, Alexis Bordas hit 93s, 25th in the country. The nation's leader in Division I was A.Z. Fudd, who hit 117. So, right up there. And again, Sydney Shaw for the Mountaineers hit 95 and was in the top 15 in the country. So Alexis Bordas, 3-time Mary Ostrowski Award winner, headed to West Virginia for next year, and that's exciting. I mean, who knows about the minutes? I mean, she could play, she could get Riley McAlusky type minutes, 10, 11, 12 a game maybe. If she hits shots, maybe more. Yeah, it'd be great to see her get on the floor there, but we'll see. It'll be fun. Programming note, we're scheduled to be joined by Alexis coming up tomorrow night on Sportsline. So. All right, Alexis Bordas tomorrow night at 6:20 here on the Sportsline. Coming up next, Jayson Gee, who spent a long time at the University of Charleston, again has had a long and winding career in men's college basketball. He's back in the state at Concord. He will join us next on the CityNet statewide sports line. We're in the Health Plan studios since 1979. The Health Plan has called West Virginia home. From humble beginnings, they've grown alongside West Virginia, becoming a part of its fabric. For over 4 decades, they've been here through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses, proudly serving West Virginia for over 40 years. The Health Plan.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The Health Plan. We are here for you.
Ready to make this boating season unforgettable? Head to Lou Wendell Marine Sales, family owned and operated for over 40 years and West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Lou and his sons are boating experts from sales to service to repairs. And right now, their lot is packed with incredible inventory and some of the best deals of the season. Because they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com today. Boating season is almost here.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com to apply. That's WVMetroNews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
Looking for a show that talks about everything? You found it.
By the way, I'm really happy to talk about this as opposed to Ryan's opinion that being a sports fan is a bad thing.
He said that it kept him from being stressed about it, not that it was a bad thing, that they didn't have the stress. And, I mean, I've seen you pace.
Yeah, you're only 30 and you look like that.
So true. So
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
Sitting at Statewide Sportsline, we're back in the Health Plan studios tonight. Kyle Wiggs, Greg Hunter, Brad Howe, still to come. Some comments from Mountaineer quarterback Scotty Fox from today's Three Guys Before the Game podcast. We'll get to that in a bit, but we're privileged right now to be joined by the new head men's basketball coach at Concord University. Please welcome back to the state, Jayson Gee. And, Coach, good evening. We appreciate your time.
Oh, gosh. Boy, bringing back even greater memories with you guys. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. And you've had such a fascinating, long, winding career, and we'll get to some of that here in a bit. But we need to ask you, why come back now? Why Concord? And the Division II level, what drew you back to that level of men's college hoops?
Wow, that was a complex case.
Yeah, that's a three-parter.
But I got plenty to say. Number one, my faith drew me back. When I was serving with Jerome Tang at Kansas State, and I'm sure that made national news, and they let him go, and I just felt like, Lord, what do you want to do with me now? And he said, be still, and I didn't make a call. And I had some opportunities come my way without nothing I did, and I was calling the president of Concord to recommend someone else for the job, and her name is President Bethany Min, and she immediately rerouted my conversation. I never got his name out. I want you here, and I want you to be the head coach at Concord, and I want you to be the special assistant of the president, and I want you to be the ambassador of the university. So that's how faith drew us. That's one. And then two, her husband was my assistant while I was the head coach at the University of Charleston. And and she was the dean of students at the University of Charleston when I was head coach there. And then finally, three, man, I needed some money. I had to pay these bills. Hey.
So, Jayson, you were very successful in this league. I don't even remember. It may not have been NAIA back in your day before even D2. But
now you're really trying to date me. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Yeah, maybe not that long ago. But you knew this league back when. You haven't seen it up close in a little while. But is it the same type of basketball, the same type of league? What do you expect out of this league as you move forward?
Well, it's a better league, guys, than when I came. I think we were able to dominate it. Fairmont was really good at the time. And, no, we were Division II, by the way, NCAA. But I think where it's gotten better at this year is, in the last 5-7 years, look at what West Liberty has done in the conference and nationally. And then Fairmont continues to have a powerhouse program. And then you still got Charleston. And the last 4 coaches since I left have been mentees of mine, and now I got to try my best to beat them. I hope I didn't teach them too much. So we're excited about the opportunity, but definitely a better league. I think more creative coaching and different styles of play, and then you have some teams that have NIL. Let's just be honest. That's a difference maker even at our level. So the challenge is there.
Yeah, that's well said. It is a great league, and you're talking to 3 guys that love the MEC, so we're thrilled to have you back, and we'll continue to watch that league as we have over the years. We were talking before the show, Jayson. Tony and I got a chance to see you out in Manhattan there at the end of the season there when you, as you mentioned, you were on the Kansas State bench there, and we were in with Ross and the Mountaineers. Give us a sense of what you're doing now to assemble this roster. Obviously not a ton of time when you're the new coach and you got to go, but you have a ton of contacts, a lot of resources from your time at the D1 level. How do you see this roster coming together? Where are you going to start building it?
Well, first of all, I'm going on my knees because I got to pray to get some players, and I got to pray to keep some players. So that's number one. But you're right. I've got a lot of contacts, and what I really have been focusing on here is assembling a staff, because at the end of the day, you can't do it alone. And, I got over 110 text messages when this was first released, and I'm getting about 60 a day since then. And with players and guys, hey, coach, there's a great player. And to be honest, I haven't been able to follow up on all of them yet, but we'll get our good share, and we'll play a brand of basketball. I think that'll be exciting, and I think you'll see a different Coach G. When I was in the league, my teams were top 10 in the country in scoring. Throughout my career, the last 20 years, I've sort of flipped to a more defensive-minded coach. So we're going to guard teams, and that'll be a challenge in this league. But our goal that we have 3 no's: no catch and shoot threes. Don't tell West Liberty now. No second chance points. Don't tell Fairmont, and no second chance points, and don't tell Charleston. So we hope to be experts at that and be one of the top defensive teams in the league, because I found out all that success I had. We were number 1 in the region, top 10 in the country year in and year out, National Players of the Year, All-Americans, but we could never penetrate that Sweet 16. And that's because we didn't guard well enough. And so I come back in the league with some experience and some success after some losses, and ready to instill that mentality at Concord. And they've just made the program a great situation. And when President Min was talking to me, she kept talking about all I did, and I had to remind her. And I remember I had John Brandon on my staff, who was assistant coach, was the head coach at University of Cincinnati. I had Jeff Bowles on my staff, who was the head coach at Ohio University right now. And I had a guy by the name of Keith Tyler, who, oh, by the way, is my pastor, and he's a state director of FCA. And then I had her husband on my staff. And so you got to have the resources. And once they made a commitment to the resources and to upgrade the scholarships, the coaching salaries, and some of those things, then the job became really attractive.
So, Coach, you were at UC 96 through 2003, left there to go to St. Bonaventure, Division I associate head coach, stop at Cleveland State, 5 years as head coach at Longwood, then on to Winthrop, Cincinnati, Western Carolina, Coastal Carolina, and most recently Kansas State. So I know you well enough to know that you pick something up at every one of those stops. So what were the things that have molded you into the coach you are now and the man you are now?
Well, I think the Lord has really, brought us a long way. I had a son that's an incredible story. Actually, Joey Holland is a producer of the story, The Battle for Brandon. I had a son that had an incurable brain disease, a story of his journey and to good health. And I was in hospitals for 3 years and walked out. So that obviously impacted me. I was with some unbelievable coaches. I mean, Gary Waters, phenomenal coach, highly successful. John Brandon, who I started out in coaching 25 years ago. I was his associate coach at Cincinnati. And then Justin Gray, former player at Wake Forest, and talented young coach. So I just learned, I thought I knew this at Charleston. Number one, you got to have some players. and you got to have really good ones. And then, great coaches are not necessarily great coaches because of, the offenses they run, but the standards that they maintain. And then I think the other thing that's really been affirmed for me, even though I had this at some level at Charleston, is you got to be committed to loving this student athlete, and you got to capture the heart. And that if you capture the heart and help him develop in all areas of his life, winning basketball games will be a byproduct of that. As a young coach, my focus is on what does it take to win. I gotta recruit more. I gotta work harder. I gotta recruit better players. I gotta spend more time on film. But no. I gotta spend more time capturing the heart, and I gotta make that my primary focus. And the byproduct of that is winning basketball games.
So, Jayson, I'm sure you haven't had time to even settle in yet, but what's it like to be back in the state of West Virginia?
Oh man, I had no idea. I've said to everybody who listened this last week or so that I didn't realize coming back would be such a big deal. I thought they forgot about me. But no, I'm just really grateful, thankful, and blessed, and it's been a great transition back. It's my second home. I was here for 5 years as a student athlete and came back 7 years as a head coach, and my kids had made an imprint in this community, this state, made an imprint on them, and I've since been on teams and coached teams that have come back to Morgantown and played at Marshall, and so I've had a consistent connection. But it's been a real great homecoming, and people at West Virginia, they call it down home. They certainly have treated me like family upon my return so far. Of course, I haven't beat their teams yet, but we'll see.
Jayson, it's so weird what this sport has become and what the industry has become with all of this player movement. And I'm interested in your perspective here, in that there was a guy at Concord last year, Bo Gigo, who was just a wonderful basketball player that's now moved up to the Marshall level. And you had a guy at Kansas State last year that came from the MEC for a couple other stops, and Marcus Johnson, who, thank God you didn't play him earlier against West Virginia. You would have beat us by 50 instead of the 30 that you got us. He came in and started filling it. Well, I'm just interested in your thoughts as you come back to the Mountain East Conference now and you're recruiting guys. What's the pitch? Is it just 1 year? You take it 1 year at a time? How do you start to assemble this roster, and what's the pitch to these guys?
Well, you certainly have to adapt or get out. And so I'm done with my speeches about transformation versus transactional. It is what it is, and it is what it's become. Mm-hmm. So we certainly adapted. But I got a crazy belief, guys, that you can still love them and you can still make an impression in 10 months or 8 months or 7 months. And the reality of it is we had 4 guys up over $1 million at Kansas State, and they were at mid-majors. 3 of them were at mid-majors, and they quadrupled their income. And it's transformational. We talk about making it transformational to them, but that's transformational money, so you can't really hate them on that.
Sure.
So when I say that I adapted, I haven't given in on being transformational. I'm still going to love them unconditionally. I'm still going to ride them about their academics. And if the good Lord gives me 8 months with them, then I still know that I can make an imprint on their heart and then hand it off to the next person that's going to have the great privilege to work with them. But the reality of it is you have a guy in this league, and I'd say the top teams in our league probably have about $30,000 to $50,000 in NIL. Well, the guy you talked about at Marshall, he tripled that. Mm-hmm. So, you can't stop him from doing that. What I'm concerned about, guys, is when you transfer 3 times, how you going to graduate? And that money does run out, and they do spend it. So I've adapted, and I've just tried to give my guys more counsel. And then at the end of the year, I try to give them encouragement. I've been on the phones, guys, and I've said, hey, look, there's a lot of low Division I players and mid-major high school players and transfers that are just getting left out now, especially high school players. So one of my routes in building this program is I want to get that good high school player that I would have taken at Ohio University. I want to get that good high school player that I would have taken at Cleveland State or Longwood or when I was at Winthrop. And hopefully that kid will come in here and do what he does, and then after a year or 2, he's gone. I have to be okay with that, and I've got to create a transformational atmosphere that still accommodates that type of transition. And we aim to imprint them on their life, and we want to coach them for life. We want to be a part of their life, and I think that attitude and that commitment still works.
News today that Coach Tang landed back at Baylor. Was your thoughts on that? Was that a surprise at all, or what did you think when you heard that?
Well, I kind of had the inside scoop, guys. Y'all just now getting to know it. Happy for him. What a transformational experience that was for me to see how he led a program. And, just praying every day he gets his $18.7 million.
Sure. Well said. Although Jayson, as the West Virginia radio guy, I would just assume he would have got out of the league. I don't want him back at Baylor where he had so much success for 20 years. I would have been fine if he would have gone somewhere else.
Yeah, he was one of the finest assistant coaches in the country, and they've got a great love affair with Coach Drew. And I know I know he got that opportunity early, and I think kind of said he didn't know, he didn't want to do it. And I think just Drew's persistency got arguably one of the best coaches or assistant coaches in the country in his time there back on the sidelines.
Hey, one last thing for Jayson. I know you already know this. You've only been there a couple days, I realize, but you've got one of the best SIDs in America there in Wes McKinney. So take care of our guy.
Oh, man, Wes is taking care of me. What you talking about? He had a phenomenal idea I'll share with you guys. Hopefully you guys will be able to see the press conference tomorrow at 1. He recruited some of my past coaches. So I got a mentee at Kentucky. He's got Pat Kelsey. He's got Jerome Tang. He's got Tex Williams. He's got Keith Tyler. And they all did videos. So I'm anxious to see some of the comments they had and make sure they don't tell all the truth, because I do want tomorrow to be a celebration for me.
Well, that's great. Well, Wes is a good one there. You got a good one.
Yeah, you can tell. You've been around enough, 36 years, 13 moves. The good ones and the talented ones, and he certainly come across that way.
Coach, as you mentioned, 1 o'clock, that's the news conference inside the Carter Center, the formal introductory news conference for head coach Jayson Gee at Concord. And not only is the head basketball coach, as you mentioned, special assistant to the president.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, it is a dual job. I mean, she sent me an itinerary with like 9 engagements, meeting delegates and congressmen, and I'm like, none of this is basketball, Prez, and I got to win some games. But no, I'm excited. And one of the hidden secrets that I think people will eventually get out is the leadership, the talent, the giftings of President Bethany Min. And I was blown away. I mean, for her to call me I called her on one night to recommend somebody, and her to come after me and then show up my house less than 24 hours later, let me know she's really serious. And just being on campus and hearing the constituencies, the administrators, the faculty, the students talk so highly about her makes me that much more excited. I mean, I knew I felt good about her, but now I know I got a special president, and you know how things happen. You got to be strong up the middle. Special president, special AD, special head basketball coach, and we have all three of those.
Well, enjoy your day tomorrow, and we're going to look forward to seeing you on the sidelines again very, very soon. Thanks,
guys. Now, y'all really make me feel as I'm back in West Virginia, so I appreciate this interview.
All right, thanks. Statewide. You just went statewide for the first time since coming back.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach. Coach Jayson Gee there, the 16th men's basketball coach at Concord, and again, special assistant to the president as well. We'll take a break. We'll hear from Scotty Fox coming up as the CityNet statewide Sportsline continues. Businesses across West Virginia rely on CityNet for secure, high-performing networks and advanced cybersecurity solutions. Built, owned, and supported right here at home. Visit citynet.net. Remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Running a small business means wearing a lot of hats, and dealing with tech problems shouldn't be one of them. CityNet helps West Virginia businesses keep their technology running smoothly, from networks and computers to backup, security, and day-to-day support. Whether you don't have IT staff or you have a small team that could use extra help, CityNet can take care of the technology or work alongside your team to fill in the gaps. With proactive monitoring, fast local support, and solutions built on CityNet's fiber network, your business stays productive instead of reactive. Call us at 1-844-CityNet to get started.
If sinus and allergy discomfort are impacting your daily routine, the experts at the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center can help you find relief. Our team of ear, nose, and throat specialists work together to help you breathe easier. With exceptional care for sinus and allergy issues, we provide adults and children with the most advanced ENT care available in West Virginia. Call 855-WVU-CARE or visit wvumedicine.org/ENT.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
The overnight round of rain didn't bring a lot of accumulation to some, like Elkins or Martinsburg. Many of us did see that quarter to a half inch, including Lewisburg, Charleston, Huntington, Parkersburg had over a half inch. More beneficial rain to the area through Wednesday, but extending this to the 7-day precipitation outlook, hardly any change. So it will be much drier in general on the other side of the cold front for Wednesday. That brings a widespread marginal risk. Damaging winds is that concern. We'll see areas of showers trying to hold form this evening, but the widespread rain moves with the system through the morning and into the afternoon from west to east, with some wet weather affecting your outdoor plans. In general, through the evening, drying out pretty nicely. FlyCRW forecast, it starts at home. A pretty decent stretch to end the week, depending on where you're traveling, holding on to some 90s in Orlando and some seasonably cool conditions in Chicago. Panhandle to panhandle forecast, around an inch possible in some northern areas as you go southward, closer to that half inch, mid and upper 50s for lows, and then topping off generally in the mid 60s for your Wednesday with the thunderstorms represented. Looking east, closer to that half inch to 3/4 inch range, well represented here, with temperatures dipping in below 50 in the cooler spots tonight, and then will range from mid 60s to near 70 in the warm spots on Wednesday. Petersburg's 71. Zooming out here, a half inch to an inch, that is a good ballpark area that many of us will be falling in. Maybe some fog developing overnight near Moorfield to Franklin, low to upper 50s, and some highs that'll be near 70 in the warmer spots on Wednesday. About a half inch or so for Charleston, but Huntington has that 1 inch potential. Logan holding on to 62 tonight, and then those warm areas will be in some 70s for our Wednesday. The rest of the forecast, we'll see more commonly 60s, and the rain chances not accumulating as much.
CityNet statewide Sportsline inside the Health Plan Studios. Kyle, Greg, and Brad. Let's get into the Scotty Fox cuts. Again, it's all out there. 3 guys before the game, the entire interview. So let's play the first one, and then we'll let Brad jump in and add a little context to it. But Scotty Fox asked about what he sees out there. The play's over. How do you process it, and what are you looking for when you move on to the next play?
Take us in a game situation and post-play. The play just ended. I know it's going to depend on down, distance, score, et cetera. So what do you have to do, and sometimes you guys are going really fast, to get the next play off? Like, who are you hearing from? What are you thinking about? What is your thought process in those sometimes 12 to 15 seconds?
Yeah. Well, one, I know Coach Rod likes to go fast, so we're going to not a lot of time for thinking.
Right.
But I'll have Coach Rhett, Coach Rod's son.
Right.
He's the quarterback coach. He'll be in my headset. He's up in the booth.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll tell me, what the play call is, and then I'll yell it to the O-line. And they'll still do signals and everything, but most of the time I'm just hearing it and telling the O-line because we're going so fast.
So that's first. You're getting play call immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
So play call immediately. I even hear it in the headset before they even signal it because they're on the same radio or whatever it is. But I'll hear it, tell the O-line, get set, okay, pre-snap ID, safeties, box count, leverage, numbers, that type of thing, and then go from there. Just got to play fast.
He says that like it's like one thing, right? That's a lot going on there, Greg, in a short amount of time as Rich is over on the sideline going nuts to hurry up and get moving. That's a lot going on right there. And he talked about it 3 or 4 times. He mentioned he goes safeties first, right? Safeties always tell the story, and he gets going. But that's a lot to process as you're trying to run to the line and get the play off there.
It is interesting, though. I'd like that insight as to what they ID, because sometimes offenses will ID through the linebacker, but their ID goes to the quarterback, through the safety, and then also you get the box count to know exactly what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So, they do have to process stuff pre-snap, but then all of a sudden somebody moves and you get some stemming right at the snap, and now the quarterback's got to flip his mind completely. You can't change the call, but you got to flip your read.
If you like that kind of stuff there, that answer, he goes deeper into that. We talk a little more about that, about the system and the playbook and what he's looking for and how many reads there are when he drops back on a pass play. So he did a great job of explaining that and getting pretty deep into how this offense mechanically works.
Next up, didn't have the greatest game against Pitt. His thoughts on that Pitt game and kind of bouncing back from that.
So what was that like?
Pitt?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was, go out there. So this is what happened. So going to halftime, I think it was like 7-3. And Coach Rhett comes in. He's like, you're going in. I'm like, okay. Like I kind of knew beforehand, like there's a chance I could play. Kind of the reps I was taking that week and kind of, what he was saying. Coach Rhett was saying, like, if your number's called, like, be ready. So I was kind of expecting. I wasn't, like, necessarily nervous or anything. It was just, like, I'm really ready to go. But he's like, okay, halftime, like, you're going in. Like, let's do it, okay? So go out there. I forgot what the first drive was. I think it was, like, maybe 3 and out. And then the next drive, it was, I think Justin Smith-Brown had the long breakaway. And then we scored. Yeah. Then I'm like, okay, I'm up here. Yeah. I'm like, dude, like, let's freaking go. Like, Pitt, rivalry, West Virginia. Let's go. Getting the guys hype. And then next series, threw a pick to, I don't know. I thought it was a dig route. I didn't even, so this I'm talking about, like, the pre-snap. I didn't get a good pre-snap. Just threw it. Yeah. It's dumb. Straight to the guy. And then next series, went out, did it again. I was like, oh, man. Like, yeah, just. That's wraps.
Welcome to college football. Yeah, the high
definitely.
and the low.
Freshman, right? The mistakes like that.
And that's what he talked about. And then what I thought was interesting is he goes on from that answer. So that in and of itself was interesting. And then he talks about the conflicted feelings. Like, obviously he was thrilled they won from a couple reasons. One, they just won. 2, it does relieve a little pressure from him, right? That they still won the game. But then just how he had to balance that, bounce back, and fight his way back into getting more reps. He said that was a challenge, right? He hadn't faced a lot of adversity in his career, and that was major adversity there. I thought it was a really mature approach for how he handled that, and he goes deeper into what that game meant to him.
Yeah, I think the maturity level of that's good because I think there were a lot of us outside and probably even some inside that thought that game would destroy him at least for the year.
From a confidence standpoint.
Yes, exactly. And he was probably not going to be able to play much more the rest of the season. Yet later on, a few games later, his numbers called again and performs really well. in the stretch.
And isn't that a great example of, you hear it all the time. It's so much that it's almost cliche, but it's cliche because it's true. The speed of the game and how fast it's moving. And he talked about that, just how fast that was moving for him at that time as he was trying to play for the first time in that kind of environment against guys that are really fast. That's a good defense that he was playing against, and those guys came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He didn't get a great read, thought he could stick it in there, and he couldn't, and just how that led to growth the rest of the season, as you mentioned.
You would like never to make a mistake, but that's not realistic. And
Right.
learning from that mistake is what is important, and not repeating it in multiple games. Obviously, it came right back and bit him in the next series as well, but being able to overcome that and learn from that's the most important thing in development.
One more from Scotty Fox. What's it like playing for head coach Rich Rodriguez?
Going back to Rich, I think another thing that makes him unique is that he takes every single rep in a practice personal. Like, to your point, even if it's just we're going to run a little toss or we're going to hand off, run an ISO, whatever it is, like to him, that's the single most important play of the day. And while you might go, that's just one of 250 snaps we're getting out here today. Like to him, if it gets screwed up, we got a situation.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he chases perfection, and that's what you want in a coach. I mean, obviously you're not going to be perfect, but when you have a coach that chases perfection, kind of like him, it really pushes you to be the best that you can be. And that's what I'm very thankful for with him and a coach like him. It's that he wants the best out of you, no matter what, no matter who you are. Excuse me, but yeah, like no matter who you are, no matter like what your depth is, no matter what, like he wants the best out of you.
Yeah.
It's a good line, chasing perfection, right? And again, on that, he goes on to talk about Jeff Weimer. The receiver was his roommate, and he said Weimer sat him down once. Weimer's been in a bunch of different places, played for a ton of head coaches, and said he'd never had one like Rich that cared so in-depth about each player getting the maximum out of their ability that they could. And I thought, again, pretty mature way to say that. So coming from Jeff Weimer, who'd been around a long time, but Scotty took that to heart and understood that, and knows sometimes you have to get past Rich's enthusiasm and how he's coaching you and take the message there that he is trying to draw that out. And I thought Tony's point was right, that, Greg, you know that, right? Rich is taking every play like it's the winning touchdown drive of the Super Bowl, even when it's practice on a Tuesday, and Scotty appreciated that.
More with Scotty Fox on Three Guys Before the Game. It's available at MetroNews TV and at WVMetroNews.com. Back with more on the CityNet statewide Sportsline after this.
This boating season, elevate your family time with Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Proudly family owned for over 40 years. Lou and his sons are West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Trusted experts in premium boats, motors, and service. Discover refined comfort, elegant design, and performance you can feel. Now is the perfect time to take advantage of preseason savings. At Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they don't just sell boats. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com because the weekend's almost here.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
What do you know about hot dogs? Because we've been all about hot dogs this week.
I love hot dogs, and I love them with Miracle Whip.
Oh, God, I forgot. Never mind. I forgot
and
about
onions.
that. Okay.
I actually, yesterday morning, I had a hot dog for breakfast at 6:45 with onions and Miracle Whip.
And with that, we'll be back right after this.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
CityNet statewide Sportsline. We're in the Health Plan Studios. 304 Talk 304. That's the text line, guys. NCAA tournament expansion. It is coming. The NCAA has initiated final steps to expand to 76 teams, women's and men's. This, of course, has been on the table for a long time. It's on track to be formalized in the upcoming weeks. It would begin this year. And the middle of next month is what they're looking at in terms of officially firming this up. There are approvals needed from various NCAA committees, but those seem to be, at this point, formalities. So it looks like a 76-team NCAA tournament coming next spring, next March, for women's and men's basketball.
Yeah, 2 years too late. We would have been in each of the last two tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those, I don't necessarily mind this. I know some people are losing their minds over this and say the quality of play at that back end is not going to be. I'm okay with that. If there's blowouts in the first round, there's blowouts in the first round. Give me more games. Give me more games in a tournament setting. I'm okay with this. And I'm surprised it took this long to get done.
Oh, yeah.
They've been talking about this for a while, so not a surprise that we finally got to the point that they got the votes to push this through.
I'm always interested in the logistics. Is this to knock out Dayton as a first four site? Do they just
could expand it?
Yeah, or is it expanded? Which way do you go? Do you just move everybody now to one of the regionals and just do it at one of those sites? I mean, multiple games at multiple of those sites, or do you try to keep Dayton in there? Dayton's been really good for what it's been worth, but it is a little bit travel difficult for those teams that advance.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
You find out Sunday night and you're playing Tuesday and you got to get somewhere. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a challenge.
Well, if this is formalized in the middle of May, then they'll have the summer to work things out. I'm sure we'll know all the details. Another texter says, don't forget the Brendan Sorsby thing. I mean, that happened yesterday. We haven't had a chance to talk about it because we've been loaded up. It's too late to get into it now. But, that obviously is an incredible story.
And still some details to come out. There's a lot of wide-reaching effects here. First and foremost, what's it do to his eligibility? Is he gone forever? 1. 2, what happens to Texas Tech? Is their backup quarterback, who's pretty good. This isn't the end of Texas Tech as long as their backup's back from his ACL.
Coming off a knee injury.
But what happens to the money? Does Texas Tech get the $5 million back they reportedly paid him? Does he forfeit that? What happens to Cincinnati? There's some discussion that maybe Cincinnati was alerted before last season and went ahead and played him. If they knew that, if that's true, is there sanctions coming for Cincinnati? So there's a lot of wide-ranging consequences still to come for multiple schools in this one.
Texter says, kiss the NIT and the crown goodbye with an expanded NCAA tournament.
There's always teams that don't make it.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. The NIT, I think, is changing anyway. I wonder how long that was going to continue to be in its current form, number one. But number two, the crown's interesting. I mean, you had a team this year in Creighton that was sub 500, and that's always a question with those tournaments, is just who's staying together as a group. That's part of it as well.
Texter from last night saying, great show last night, really enjoyed it. We appreciated that, and we certainly had fun doing that as well.
As long as you drive, I'll be happy to go anywhere.
I'll drive back up there. Certainly.
Well, we work on that.
I got other sites we can go to as well.
Well, yeah, that's true as well. Speaking of the Cardinals and the Pirates, I had one more text on that. Somebody wasn't happy. Let's see, where did it go? It was one of the first ones that came in, but the texter said that he can't root for the Cardinals. which no matter what.
Said JJ and Vic aren't Mountaineers
Here we go.
anymore.
As a Pirates fan, last night was brutal. Certainly I care about JJ and Victor, but they're not playing for the Mountaineers anymore. Go Buccos. That being said, I applauded Coach Hunter when interviewing Victor Scott, asking questions about Victor Scott and not JJ. It had to be frustrating for Victor to field so many questions about JJ, but he handled it quite well.
Oh, he handled it really well. But, again.
Well, you can tell those guys are genuinely friends.
Yes, they are.
Because Vic never bristled in any JJ question.
No.
But I understand the texter's point.
Right.
He's right.
Yeah.
I mean, you are talking to Victor Scott. Ask him some questions, as Greg did.
Though, it was JJ returning to his hometown. That was the story. If this was in Atlanta, where Victor Scott is from, you'd like to think the Atlanta media would have given him a few more toss-ups.
Yeah, those guys were both wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, Vic's back in the lineup tonight, hitting 9th. The Cardinals lead the Pirates 1-0. That game is underway. Looks like Nolan Gorman has hit a home run. And Braxton Ashcraft, again, who missed last night's start. Pirates had a bullpen game. He is starting tonight. So
you got O'Neal Cruz in the lineup
yes,
tonight for
O'Neal
the Pirates?
Cruz is back too. He
What
was
about
out
JJ?
with a sickness. JJ they got him out in the first inning.
Yeah, 0 for 1.
Yeah, so he's 0 for 1. Victor Scott's back in the lineup. O'Neal Cruz back in the lineup. 1-0. The Cardinals leading the Pirates, and they are in the top half of the second. And if somebody gets on in the second, Vic will get his first at-bat. All right, again, tomorrow night coming up, we're scheduled to be joined by Alexis Bordas, 3-time Girls Basketball Player of the Year at Wheeling Park, one of the top three-point shooters in the country last year at Duquesne, and now a part of the WVU women's program. So that'll be part of tomorrow night's show. So we hope you'll join us then. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Join us again tomorrow night for another edition of the CityNet Statewide Sportsline, and have a good evening.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sportsline is an exclusive production of the MetroNews Radio Network. All rights reserved.